The morning after. Listen, Shakur Stevenson, and still boring.
It's kind of hard to prove it if you don't got a fighter trying to fight back. I would have wanted him to try a little harder so that way it could be a more fun fight.
Were you frustrated that you couldn't get him out of there?
Yes, I was. I think the booze was probably because of him. He ain't really try to make the fight.
Listen. Make no mistake, okay? When I called the fight last night and watching the fight, I feel the same this morning as I felt last night. Shakur Stevenson put on a masterclass clinic. He did. I think he put on a masterclass clinic over Artem, beating him practically every single round. If you gave a round to Artem, you would have given him the first round. And this was a guy who was clearly beating Frank Martin. And he ended up taking a knee in the last round and blowing his lead. Many people think Frank was still robbed, Artem was still robbed, and that Artem deserved the nod still versus Frank Martin. So Shakur Stevenson outperformed Frank Martin as far as a boxing clinic. He put on a masterclass clinic while putting on a snooze fest of a fight. And that's where the rubber meets the road. In order for Shakur Stevenson to put on a good fight, all right, a good to great fight, it is 100% the responsibility of his opponent. He said it himself.
I would have wanted him to try a little harder so that way it could be a more fun fight.
And that's the black toe joggers. A little bit of cream. Oh, that's delicious. That's delicious. It's 100% the responsibility of his opponent, okay? I said last night, Artem must knock himself out. I realized that. Shakur Stevenson could not go get him and knock him out, and the knockout was there. And the reason why is because Shakur Stevenson does not have the tenacity. He's not the savage. He doesn't have the killer instinct. He is incapable of going to get the knockout if it's not handed to him. But before we talk about that, we gotta first talk about really the story of the night. Oh, Shocky, shout out Foster.
I don't know. I thought it was a shutout. That's what I'm saying, man. I thought I was a shutout.
It's not funny. That's not funny, dog. That's diabolical, dog. That's not funny. I thought it was a shutout. But listen, on the real though, that was a humongous robbery. It was. I watched the fight. I didn't watch it last night because I was so bored by it that I didn't watch it. I turned from it. And I think the judges overplayed the finessing stroke. Okay, in this community, we have said repeatedly finessing shouldn't win. But that right there, Shocky, shout out Foster. He beat the hell out of Kessler. I mean, he dominated him. Okay, that was that is one of the biggest robberies I've ever seen. And you guys said it last night, and I was like, really? Like Laura Paul Williams, like that was a very sick. That was a sickening robbery. And it wasn't as finessing as I assumed. When I watched the fight, I was like, he just kind of boxed him. He gave him a boxing lesson. I think he was robbed. Now let's go to Keyshawn Davis. Fight of the damn night. Keyshawn, that is my favorite fight from you ever. Thank you. Now that's boxing. That's a fight. Every weekend, I tune in to boxing to see that. I was so impressed by the improvements of Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis has always had the tenacity, aggression, the savagery to be a violent fighter. But Bomac, he's adding these levels, which made him defensively responsible, dare I say it, slick. That's right, because Keyshawn Davis definitely has the abilities, okay, the physical tools, and those physical tools are coming out. You know, Terrence Crawford, probably the best athlete in the ring right now, okay, in boxing. Terrence, he's the best athlete in boxing. The guy can do everything. He can play football, golf, race cars. The guy, you know, karate. He's the best athlete in boxing. But with that said, Bomac is able to bring those things out, manifest those things, and add those elements to make you a fantastic fighter. Keyshawn not leaving, not abandoning his tenacity, though, because Masvidal was trying to make it a savage war, and Keyshawn, he definitely gravitated towards that war, but he fought him back in a slick way. Like, he's not a Sweet Pea Whitaker, but what I'm saying is Sweet Pea Whitaker was like, Sugar Ray Leonard was like that, where it's a savage fight, and he's being savage back, but he's doing it beautifully. And like I said, that is the sweet science. So fantastic performance by Keyshawn Davis. What I saw out of him, I'm like, he's one of my favorite fighters right now. Abdullah Mason, enough said, okay? Now, we in the zone war room.
We in the zone war room.
Been hit with a liver shot.
Oh, the right hand just rocks Garcia upstairs. Sorry, Sugar. Garcia hanging on for dear life, but still got the fight in him. It's incredible. Garcia firing back after he got rocked along the ropes.
Yeah, those liver shots. You mean he still feels that liver shot that he got hit with 2 minutes ago. That liver. Most people don't understand how painful that is.
Paralyzing. It's debilitating. And Vargas trying to steal the soul of Sean Garcia.
All respect to the ref, but you shouldn't have.
You won't see a lot of them from him, but he'll throw just about anything.
Good body shot by Zepeda. He hurt Cabrera.
Yes, he did, and Cabrera takes a knee.
Sneaky left uppercut right on the liver. Cabrera felt that.
And that is it. Cabrera up just seconds before.
Moten is putting it on him. He's feeling himself like he's looking for his keys, and it looks like he's got the key to victory. Bouncing punches off the body of Buzolin. It is all Kermel Moten in the first.
Ooh, snuck in a beautiful body shot there.
Goes.
A man at 36. But how much is he going to be able to take? And is Jack going to jump in and stop it?
Under a minute and a half left in the second. Jack Reese steps in.
Calls it and stops it.
Moten is 4-0 with his third knockout.
This is a big, high-profile victory. What's next for you?
I'm going to beat Jake Paul's ass. And I'm down to fight the highest ranked boxer I can find. And get him on a high level so people know who the he is. And my main mission, my main objective, like it's always been, is to be the best fighter in the world. So I want to go back and get a UFC title.
You and Jorge.
Leon Edwards, Jake Paul, and anybody that else, you're dead.
Hey, believe it or not, the best fight, yes, Keyshawn Davis against Masvidal was the best fight of the night, but the second best fight of the night was Sean Garcia and Vargas. And Vargas start beating the hell. Actually, he was beating the hell out of Sean Garcia early. Sean Garcia showed a lot of fight. He showed a lot of grit. Oh my God, he showed a lot of grit. But he was not, those Vargas boys, that Vargas legacy, that Fernando Vargas bloodline, I'm excited about every last one of those boys. Okay, they just going to put on fantastic fights because they're mean, and angry and savage and willing to brutalize their opponents just like their damn daddy. Vargas just ripped Garcia's body, and Garcia, he tried, got knocked down, got up, doing his thing, tried. And I'm gonna tell you, I made a little joke about the Garcias booking it and running out the arena. Hey, Sean Garcia, don't be sorry. Be careful, bro. They got to run out of there, though. The guard, you see them? They were running out of there. They were just like, he was like, sorry. She was like, sorry, my ass. We got to get the hell out of here. All the brothers was out there like, like, hey, sorry, my ass. In the light of all the things that happened with the comments from Ryan Garcia, I thought they were moving pretty hastily, but no. All jokes aside, that was my second favorite. And sadly, one of the more hilarious fights of the night was the main card, the main event, Masvidal versus Nate Diaz, where I think Nate Diaz won, and I thought the copy box were far off. I think Nate Diaz was busier, and he deserved the nod against Masvidal. A lot of people think it was a robbery. But with that said, that fight, sadly, was more entertaining than Shakur Stevenson versus Artem. So let's get back to that. Let me get my black two sugars. Let's get back to that. Listen, when I watched the fight and I looked at Shakur, I was very impressed by his abilities. I saw his reflexes, his IQ, his ability to judge distance, his defensive prowess. There were a lot of things about Shakur Stevenson's abilities that I was like, it was jaw-dropping. I was like, yo, this guy is reeking with abilities. But it doesn't mean much if he doesn't have the tenacity of a fighter. You'll look at him and you're like, wow, he's put on a great display. But when is he going to end this guy? And someone in the comments mentioned Sugar Ray Leonard. And let's make this understood. Sugar Ray Leonard is exactly what I'm talking about when I say violence with abilities. Sugar Ray Leonard, he didn't have that one punch knockout power. And if he's not going to knock you out with that one punch, he's going to hit you with combinations, string together combinations to get you out of there. That's tenacity. And that's something that Shakur Stevenson isn't willing to do. Artem was there to be knocked out. Shakur Stevenson had to go get him and string together combinations, beat the hell out of him because he didn't have the one-punch power to hurt Artem. But a fighter with tenacity, a fighter who's more savage, like a fighter would be, not a sportsman, but a fighter, with the abilities of Shakur. Shakur has the abilities, would put himself in harm's way and trust those God-giving abilities. He would trust them and string together combinations to get that guy out of there. That's why when we talk about Terrence Bud Crawford and Terrence Bud, he get hit with shots at times because he has the tenacity. He knows I don't get paid for overtime and I'm here to sleep you. All right. Gervonta Tank Davis has that one punch power. Okay. So, but still, he puts himself in the position to get you out of there. All right, that's the difference. And that's what Shakur Stevenson doesn't have. He just doesn't have the tenacity of a fighter. And what does that mean? What does that mean? That means, like I said earlier, in order for Shakur Stevenson to put on a great performance, as he said, it is the responsibility of his opponent. So they have to match him up with the perfect kind of guys to make him look good. And that's not good because at that point, it shrinks the probable, the opponents that you can have. The array of opponents are different when it comes to Shakur Stevenson if you want to put on a fantastic fight. I want to end by saying this. I mentioned Floyd Mayweather last night, and I was completely wrong. Because what I was trying to say was I've seen performances like that time after time again by the likes of Floyd Mayweather and Winky Wright and stuff like that. But the difference is, especially when it comes to Floyd, the difference is who they were fighting. And one of you in the war room mentioned that live last night. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. Floyd Mayweather at the lighter weight classes, when he was Pretty Boy Floyd and he was fighting guys on the level of Artem, 12-1, 7 KO, shit like that. Floyd Mayweather, short work, whipped the hell out of him, okay? Beat him, knocked him out too. But when he started moving up to weight classes that he wasn't naturally, 147, 154 and stuff like that, the KO opportunities, okay, and his KO percentages dropped just right off the cliff. It wasn't just him moving up, though. It was also he was fighting champions and fantastic fighters and future Hall of Famers. All right. So when we saw what Floyd did to those guys, it was entertaining. Because in order to whitewash guys like that, you had to put together a brilliant performance, brilliant work. And that's what Floyd did to make Canelo look like he made him look. To make Shane Mosley look the way he made him look. You looked at Floyd Mayweather and you're like, that was a brilliant performance. Shakur Stevenson, the performance he had last night against Artem was a master class clinic, but not a brilliant performance. And it definitely was a boring fight. Let me know how you all feel in the comments below. ShowBizz, little dope. What does this mean for the future for Shakur Stevenson? Well, Shakur put on what I would call the worst performance ever in the championship fight against De Los Santos. And he follows that up with his performance last night, healthy. Okay, De Los Santos, he had one hand. I lost $2,000, so I'm not happy at all. I was expecting Shakur Stevenson to knock him out. Now the bar has dropped as far as what kind of entertainment you're going to receive from Shakur Stevenson. Make no mistake, boxing very greatly, and I'm talking about textbook, slick style, it has its perks while looking at it. Man, you know, wow, look at how he keeps his guard and, you know, how he's, wow. But when it's all said and done, you pay your money and you spend your time while you could have been doing something else. You spend your time tuning into boxing because you want to see a fun fight. I'm out.